Well, school is now back in session, pretty much nationwide, in person. CNN's Dana Bash asked Democrat Senator Patty Murray from Washington State if lockdowns and remote learning was the best policy for kids.
Was it a mistake to keep children home for school so long during the pandemic?
Dana, this was a decision of local school officials and our scientific experts trying to get their hands around a pandemic that was killing millions of Americans, to protect their children, to protect their staff, to protect their communities. I am proud that when Democrats got control a year and a half ago, Democrats voted for the American Rescue Plan that helped our kids get back into school safely, making sure that our schools had testing and supplies and ventilation and the ability to make sure their kids could be safe at school. And today, virtually every child is back in school. That is what I focused on, making sure that we were providing the resources to our schools so they could reopen safely. And that's what we have today.
Changing history.
Yes, we have an issue about kids being out of school. And I am very focused, Dana, on making sure that we help get our kids back to where they need to be.
Yeah. Dana?
Which is going to be a big challenge. In retrospect,
it is a challenge.
Second thoughts. And I know hindsight is always 2020, but given the numbers that you're seeing and the decline that we just talked about, you still feel comfortable with the way that school districts, even in your home state, handled the pandemic?
Sure, she's fine with it.
I think we were under unprecedented times at that point, where people really were struggling to figure out what was the best.
So was everybody else in the world. Yet, we're the ones who fell 2 years behind. We're the ones.
Yeah.
Everybody was under that same pressure. Everybody had to make those same decisions. That wasn't just a U.S. pandemic. It was a worldwide pandemic.
I'm glad you're bringing up the rest of the world, because I have in front of me here some stats for you. You ever heard of a country called Sweden? Does that ring a bell, anyone?
It does.
Heard of that?
Rings a bell.
So they have 1.8 million school-aged kids in Sweden. Those kids kept going to school. Those kids didn't wear masks. Those kids didn't have vaccine mandates, as some municipalities in America did. Not a single child died in Sweden from the pandemic. And Swedish test scores among kids did not suffer a decline, as ours have monumentally suffered after these lockdowns and school closures.
Math and reading scores for America's 9-year-olds fell dramatically during the first 2 years of the pandemic, according to a new federal study offering an early glimpse of the sheer magnitude of the learning setbacks dealt to the nation's children. Reading scores saw their largest decrease in 30 years, while math scores had their first decrease in the history of the testing regimen. Behind the study, that's great. The dramatic setbacks, which erased 2 decades of progress in American test scores, reflect years of upheaval for the country's education system.
There you go.
Schools shut down for months at a time amid COVID-19 outbreaks. Of course, many children spent a year or more learning from home. Sometimes it was almost 2 years.
Yeah. And don't forget, I mean, a lot of these places wouldn't even let you back in. I know Los Angeles, New Orleans. Remember, D.C. took another Trump judge, to step in and say, yeah, these kids can go to school if they don't have the vaccine. So stop. I'm telling you, issue by issue, Democrats like Patty Murray are going to try to change history and spin this. But look, it was unprecedented times in these crazy municipalities and these local school districts. I mean, I don't know where they were getting those crazy thoughts that we should keep the kids from going to school. It wasn't me. It wasn't my party saying it. It wasn't my president saying it.
Actually, it was.
No, it was a local. No, it was a local. No. It was the local people that were taking their cues from local stuff.
No. For the most part, it was led by the Fed, as it always is. Federal government led the way, telling everybody that, hey, they had to be safe. We had to protect the children, the most vulnerable among us, which they're not. They were the least vulnerable to this particular disease.